Alfred Potter, and this is a beginner's lesson on sweep picking. And I mean a beginner's lesson. So we're not going to be doing any 5-string or 6-string sweep shapes. We're going to be keeping it really simple. I'm going to show you how to mute the strings properly, how to transition cleanly between notes, and then I'm going to give you an example of a 2-string sweep and an example of a 3-string sweep. Now, you can use your wrist to do the sweeps, or you can use your arm. For sweep picking, it doesn't really matter. I've tried both and they both work, but I do personally use the wrist to sweep, and so I'd recommend the wrist. Anyway, let's get started. With sweep picking, you may already realize that you let the pick fall through the strings using either consecutive downstrokes or consecutive upstrokes depending on the direction you're playing. So, to take this 3-string exercise, we're going to mute the strings, and the first task is to play the G string. So you pluck it, and you let the pick fall through immediately and rest up against the B string. And then to play the B string, you pluck this one too, you let the pick fall through and land up against the E string. All one motion. And then to play the last one, you just pluck it and get ready to turn around. And then to come back, you pluck the E string and immediately the pick will fall and land against the B string. And you play through that one and let it fall to the G string, and then just pluck it to get ready to turn around. So that's the falling picking motion. The palm mute is what keeps the strings quiet as you play a sweep in this direction. It's this part of your hand, this fleshy part of your hand, which progressively mutes as you execute a sweep. So let's take the top 3 strings. We're not going to mute them this time, we're going to leave them open. And you want to just find the sweet spot, first of all, where you can play the G string, but the D string is trapped under your palm mute. So, let's have a look. So that's it there. Pause the video if you need to and find that sweet spot. So now the task is to continue on through the top 3 strings and see if you can mute them all at the right time with your palm mute. So you'd start with the G string, and the D string is muted, and then you'd play the G, you'd land on the B, and as you play on through to land up against the E string, your palm mute will immediately and at the same time mute the G string. And then the last string, the high E, as you play that, your palm mute will move up instantly to mute the B string the moment you start playing the E string. Now I know this is tricky, but you've got to get this down. Next up we have clean note transitions. Going cleanly between notes is incredibly important with sweep picking, otherwise it sounds like a damn mess. So use the picking motion you've learned and the palm muting technique to execute what I call the seesaw exercise. You're going to take 2 notes. We're going to take fret number 12 on the high E and fret number 13 on the B string. Now you're going to play back and forth between these notes, and the trick is to not actually take either finger off the string at any time. Yes, you'll be fretting and unfretting, but your finger will never actually break contact with the string. This is called fretting hand muting. You want to get perfect separation between the notes. The instant one note ends, the next one begins. There's no bleed through or anything like that. So give that a go. See if you can get that nice and clean. And once you've got that down, let's try a 3-string version. So it'll be the same 2 notes there, but we're going to add on the 12th fret on the G string. Now this time, the only finger which won't ever leave the string will be the middle one here. The first one will alternate between these 2 notes. Go as slowly as you need to get these notes nice and clean. Are you still with me? Let's move on to the first example, the 2-string example. Here it is nice and slow. So how do you play this with sweep picking? Well, you start off with an upstroke on the 15, and that upstroke immediately lands against the B string as we did before. You then pull off from the 15 to the 12, and then upstroke on the 13, and then it's that turnaround motion. You come back over the string, hit the 12, and then upstroke on the 15 to start again. Have a look at the tab and get that down. Okay, now it's time for the 3-string example. It's just a little longer than the previous one. Here it is, nice and slow. So, this is how you play it. Upstroke on the 15 again to start. The pick will rest against the B string. Pull off to the 12. Play the 13 on the B string. The pick will automatically fall through and land on the G string. Play the 12 on the G. Then you do that turnaround motion to come back over. Play the 13 on the B. The pick will fall and land against the E string. You then play the 12th on the E, and then upstroke on the 15 to start it all again.